Good evening and welcome back, Poetry Love Fuzz. It is I, ZM Wise, and here I am with another recording just for you. Here I am with Dustin Pickering here, Editor-in-Chief of Harbinger Asylum and co-founder and co-owner of Transcendent Zero Press. We are here to discuss the arts, poetry, music, visual art, and everything in between, and perhaps ask some questions about each other. But this is going to be a special format tonight. I have been inspired by Sean Evans of Hot Ones. You may have seen this very unique celebrity interview show on his channel called First We Feast. And he has interviewed several celebrities from entertainers of all different types to famous YouTubers, a few athletes and whatnot. And what he does is, on Hot Ones, they try 10 different chicken wings with 10 increasingly hot sauces. And they've gotten to now 2 million Scoville units. They have this special sauce called the Last Dab Redux. And it has 2 million Scoville units in it. And, like, insanity. So, here's the thing about me. I have this superpower that I never asked for, but I was born with it. And it has some advantages. I was born with hypersensitive taste buds. So everything that you see tonight, everything that's going to happen, is going to be enhanced for me. Because whatever I eat, whatever I drink, I can taste every single little detail in it, no matter what it is. So, even just this mild picante sauce might seem like hell to me, but you know what? We're going to ride through. And we have about 6 different sauces. We have Pace Original Picante. We have Louisiana hot sauce. We have Tapatio. We have Texas Pete's Hotter hot sauce. We have El Yucateco, and this is extra hot sauce, has habanero. And this is Mateo's gourmet salsa, habanero hot, but it also includes other peppers in it like jalapenos and whatnot. And we're going to be asking each other questions. We're going to be eating these chips. We are both armed. We both came armed. I have yogurt. We both have ice cream. We both have a glass of milk to help dampen the flame. It's not going to take away the pain at all. But, like I said, don't expect us to get to 2 million Scoville units. We're not as brave as Sean and almost everyone he's had on. This is not a mockery of the arts either. We're both very passionate about our role in the arts. This is just a different approach to talking about it. You're going to watch us suffer, because by the end, after we're done asking each other questions, we're going to read some of our poetry, maybe sing as well, while under the spell of these hot sauces in our mouths. So, I can barely handle 1,000, 2,000 Scoville units, so we're going to see what happens tonight. This is going to be fun. So, Dustin, I'm going to let you start the first question. We're going to just dip a chip into this picante sauce. Go ahead. And keep in mind that, unlike the wings that are baked in, where the sauces are baked in, we're consuming the sauces in their purest form. So, pretty much kind of mainlining it, kind of like Rachel Ray did, except not exactly mainlining it. We're using it as dip for these chips. So, here we go. So, go ahead. Ask me something.
What inspires your poetic impulse?
I think by now it's come to, I've come to an understanding that it's a combination of, there must be a goddess and a muse at work together. It's whatever, I write whatever they command me to, I sing whatever they command me to, and it feels just incredible. I feel I'm a voluntary servant to the craft. I absolutely love it. For you, what are you currently reading?
Jean Piaget's Experiments in Contradiction.
What's that about?
It's cognitive psychology, and it deals with how what comes down to child development, how they develop the cognitive skills to deal with problem solving. And first few pages I've read, one of the things they do is they put like little pegs in these holes, and each peg is about a very small, few millimeters bigger than each next peg. And so what happens is they get young kids to explain to them, how these, what pegs are small or big or whatever. And the very first few kids who were very young divided into two sections. Like they're like, these are the big ones, these are the small ones. And he points out that they can't differentiate between the fact that there's a series of them increasingly getting bigger. They divide it into big and small because they take the smaller peg at the very beginning, and they notice that the last peg is bigger, and they don't make the connection that each of them is subsequently a little bit bigger than the previous one, and so by the time you get to the very last one, it's noticeably bigger. And so they go through several different age groups and developmental phases of logic, and find that these different age groups, by about the time they get to 12 years old, they're able to discover that there's a series. They get a little bit bigger. Each peg is a little bit larger than the previous one, and so that's why at the very end it's noticeable. Whereas from A to B, it's not noticeable, but from A to G, it's noticeable because all the subsequent little bitty additions have added up, and they are able to recognize that. So far, that's where I've got into the book, and it really just comes down to how we develop our problem-solving skills, our cognition.
Of course. Ready for the second one?
Let's do it.
All right. Wanna hold out your chip?
No.
Alright. Just a little bit. Might want to hold a little bit plate.
Yeah.
Is that enough for a little bit more?
Can't see it.
Is that enough for a little bit more?
A little bit more. I'm gonna taste this, right?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Let me hang on. This is where we start to climb up the ladder a little bit, and if those of you who've been spoiled by Hot Ones, like I said, don't expect us to get to 2 million Scoville units. We're staying in the thousands, so just be happy with that. It's not like hundreds, although a couple of these might be hundreds. What the hell do we know? Okay, that's on my finger. We're not gonna. Okay, so here you go, buddy. Chips. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Ask me something.
What was your favorite book early on?
Early on, I think like one of the first books I ever read, it had some semblance of adult content, was Mythology by Edith Hamilton, and I could not stop reading it. I read that book over and over, and from cover to cover, I kid you not, and it's one of the most brilliant widespread books ever. And I recently read that for a time it was banned, as far as I know. I'm still trying to figure out why. Although I have a few intentions, but yeah. So that was kind of one of the driving influences. And I also took another competitive book of mythology. It's either Daucus or something like that. It's a DA, but it's also a book of mythology. I was supposed to ride alongside with Edith Hamilton. Then there's also Bullfinch's mythology. I also like that one, but out of all of them, definitely that one. Okay. What is a major issue in the arts that you think that people are facing today, not just in this country, but around the world? What do you think is a major issue?
Finding places where their art will be recognized. I think a lot of artists are facing this issue of, we're very solitary people, most of the time, or at least dominantly solitary. And I think that it's very difficult to reach out in the beginning, and it's hard now to actually get a space where you will be seen. There's some artists like Francis Bean Cobain, who's a painter and a musician, and she has the legacy behind her. So it'd be a little easier for her to move in and have the confidence as well as know where to go, and to make those connections. But some of us are, we don't really know where to look. And if you get online and you look for publishers or whoever else, it's going to be tricky because a lot of those places are not going to be given much attention, except maybe by a small group. And I think that there's other problems facing the arts is moral issues like what stance do we take in the direction we want to see the world go. I think a lot of artists grapple with a lot of the issues, the political and social issues going on right now, and it's hard to take a stand on that at this point. There's so much doubt and animosity in the air in general, and I think artists should take a moral stance, and then there's always the question of, as an artist, is my presence or is my art valid in any sense? You grapple with these questions of meaning. You have the existential issues, and in general, you're faced with a burden of kind of trying to decide where your place is.
Yeah, I do think, like the workplace. I think, especially in the arts, I think connection has a great deal to do with it. I know somebody who they have a certain connection. They've never had some pieces published in their friend's literary journal before. And I said, "Oh, you haven't? Well, your work is brilliant. Well, we're gonna get you in there ASAP." I think that's brilliant. I do like that system of at least of connection. What I try to tell people who I'm recruiting all around the world, if I can find a new voice, I say, please submit to us. I can't guarantee you that your work is going to be published. It's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to the quality of the work, the content, the style. All right. I'm still not as nervous. I'm looking at the Texas Pete where it says hotter. I'm starting to get a little bit, but I think we're still in somewhat of the safe zone. Yeah. So this is Tapatio.
Might have to shake it a little bit to get it out.
Don't shake it too much. Get anybody's eye. Is that good enough?
It's good. Man, this is some hot sauce!
Oh, God. It's going to be. It's definitely going to be. This is Tapatio, step 3. Okay. Whoa. Make sure these are closed all the way. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Chips. Okay, it's getting there, but it's actually really good. I actually really like it.
I like that one too.
They know how to they know how to do it. All right.
Okay. So, at what moment in your
Excuse me.
writing did you discover to yourself that you felt this was where you needed to be?
Well, might be a similar revelation to the one you had when you wrote The Little Red Wagon in elementary school. I had I'm feeling like a wuss. I want to do that one again. You don't have to if you don't want to.
I'll do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it again. It's good. It's good for the soul.
Here.
Good for the soul.
Yeah, good for the saucy soul. I can't see them. You tell me this time.
Here, let me do it.
Okay.
As much as you had on yours. Watch out.
Yeah.
Saucy soul.
This is a salute to you, Tapatio. Good for you. some good stuff. I think it. I mean, even though it does say hot sauce, I think it's still in like the lower. I feel pretty proud of myself because I can barely handle anything hot. I put some sriracha on my finger the other day. It was actually pretty decent. I mean,
it's really good.
Yeah. So far, personal favorite. But yeah, and just creation in general. So I started out writing like a few stories here and there. They were all observational, whether I had stitches or when I first met my cat or my son Thomas, and what those experiences were like. Yeah, I think I knew that around then, like my teachers at the time took a look at my writing and they said you could be published one day, and I took one look at them and I said you must be crazy. I could have been published as far back as 6th grade. Ugh, cripes. But until the age of around like 20 years old is when I started to submit my work for publishing because low self-esteem and fear of all criticism consumed me. I kind of regret that, but at the same time, like where I was at when I started to submit my work, I think it's best because in high school when I really started, I wrote stories, comic books, song parodies, some erotica too, but in between all that, I wrote poetry and it came the most natural to me, and I wanted to expand on that, and in high school and early college I went through what I like to call the Hallmark phase. Almost everybody I know says, oh, I was writing Darth and Gothic shite. And I said, well, I'm not going to talk because every single one of my poems was like a bloody greeting card. But after that, I began to expand and started to expand my horizons. And my first couple of books, they were derived from notebooks, as you know, and they contained like some simpler pieces, but I mean, you could tell where I was headed. And I tell people to save everything. It's progress. I know some people feel comfortable with incineration or just crumpling the paper and throwing it away. If that works for you, great. No judgment. I can't do that, though. I need to save everything. I've been practicing this therapy where I take a look at my old work and try not to cringe at the things that make me cringe. It works. But anyway. So for you, you've introduced me to quite a few different artists, and so my favorite living artist ever is David Bowie. May he rest in peace. And but my favorite living artist I got to meet a few years ago. My father introduced me to a few of his songs. I wasn't really too into it at the time, and then you introduced me to some of his earlier work. Tell me, what was your exposure like to Al Stewart, and what do you love about him?
Well, I discovered his music at Freeman Memorial Library. They had, a handful of his CDs available for checking out, and I basically thought, this guy looks interesting. I don't know anything about him. I've never heard the name. Just because they had 3 of his CDs and they looked interesting, they looked kind of like old hippie stuff. I checked out the 3 CDs and I put them on my computer. And the first one, the first song I heard was the one where he talks. I think he says like John the Baptist giving head or something like that.
In Brooklyn, the one you showed me.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really interesting song because very unconventional, romantic, erotic, whatever. And I thought it was interesting. I liked his lyrics. I liked the sound of the music. It was unique to me. It was very folk, but it was like not really a traditional sounding folk. Like it had a kind of almost psychedelic feel to it. So I thought it was a very original sound.
Definitely. I'm not sure if I told you or if I texted you at the time because I was a bit tipsy. It took place at a wine bar, but the second time I saw him in Minneapolis, did I tell you? He played it live in Brooklyn. He disowns his first 4 albums, except for Bedsitter Images, his first one, but mainly like albums like Zero She Flies and Orange. His third and fourth, he's not too crazy about him. He doesn't want to talk about it, but I can understand that because some of my work I sort of frown upon. But it's how he felt at the time, though. and it's, he worked up to a certain level. He found a new sound, a new lyrical style. But did I tell you that he played in Brooklyn live? It was the coolest thing I've ever and I knew because he was talking about the story where he met Leonard Cohen after he wrote it, and he showed him the lyrics and whatnot, and Leonard, and this was later on, Leonard took one look at him and looked at the lyrics and was like, down on my knees in Brooklyn, down on my knees in Brooklyn, I like that. And I think we can both agree that Leonard Cohen, he is definitely one of the most important songwriters of all time, for sure. Leonard Cohen's your David Bowie. You love him to pieces. Okay. My heart's starting to go thumpity thump like a rabbit because we're entering
Phase 4.
Although some, I have to say, some are advertised. I've been getting reports that some people have tried the last dab and said, oh, it's not as hot as the bomb Beyond Insanity. Like, so some hot sauces are advertised like, oh, extra, 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 but they're not as bad as people think. It does contain some flair, but, so we're going to find out. Is that good or more?
A little more.
Okay. Just I'm doing well so far, I think, having minimal reactions, but I have a feeling, oh crap, well, I have a feeling I'm going to suffer in a few seconds, starting with this one. It's hotter. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. I was scared for nothing.
It's a little sting to it, but
yeah, a little bit. It kind of creeps up a little bit. Okay.
What is your current favorite poetry collection?
By another person, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. Contemporary or past? Holy shit.
In general.
In general? Okay. That is a toughie. I just recently finished Book of Love, Poems of Ecstasy and Longing by Rumi. It exposed another side to him that I never would have expected. And cheers to Coleman Barks, by the way. Greatest Rumi translator in the world, who Dustin briefly corresponded with, kind of. Hell with it. You want to do that again? No? Okay, I'm going to do it.
I'm enjoying the ice cream.
Yeah, really soothes the soul. Anyway, it might be that one, but I would have to say it might also be... Oh, that was a bit much, but... also the... might be one of the books that I purchased in Austin when it was your second time, it was my first time. The complete Poems and Prose of William Blake. I've always loved Blake's work from the very beginning. It's a person beyond his time. That is a tough one. I don't think I have just one because I love them in different ways. Like, they serve me in different ways. Hang on. Okay. Getting a little cocky there.
Gurgles.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest, I think I'm going to have to pass on that question because I think, like, I read a certain collection, it affects me in a different way. There are some I like better than others. I think there are some that are pretty dry. Some with too much zest in it. You could tone it down a little bit. But I recently posted a blurb, gave a blurb rather, to Kristen Garth's recent collection, Candy Cigarette Woman Child Noir. You read it all. She was so lovely. She posted the entire blurb. She split it up into different paragraphs, and yeah. Oh boy, I sound like a cokehead. I'm not trying to insult the cokeheads, but okay. What if you could take a look back at your catalog, whether it's published or unpublished, just your work in general, I'd say, which piece or pieces or just volumes do you think that it looks like somebody else wrote them? Like, which one? Like, it seemed like they weren't you.
A matter of degrees.
How so?
It was a totally different style. I was not writing necessarily writing poetry. I was writing more like philosophical statements, aphorisms, or general observations. And I think that the nature of it took out my usual poetic style.
Mm-hmm. You have ice cream on your mustache, and there we go, and some on your leg. Yeah. Okay.
Man.
Okay. Not gonna lie, not really looking forward to this one, but then again, I wasn't looking forward to Texas Pete, and we conquered that. So.
They all taste real nice.
Oh boy, that really that smell. And remember, poetry lovers, what we're going to do with the last chip, we're going to save a really big chip, we're going to put a little bit of each on the chip and sort of mix it all together.
Come on, Zach.
I know, I just don't want to, like, pour it to... Oh, shh.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a little thicker.
Oh, yeah, so this is kind of like paste here. It's a little... chip.
I'm smelling it.
Oh, you're smelling it. Mm-hmm. Oh, a smaller chip. Oh, cripes. Okay. So this has habanero in it, so...
Habanero.
Let's see what happens, folks. I'm glad this is really fun. Thank you, Sean Evans. You're a genius. Thank you for this. Don't worry, we're not stealing it. We're paying due credit to you. You deserve all the credit. This is just a different direction. Cheeks! Okay, it says extra, but I don't feel the... Oh, fuck!
It kicks you.
Fuck me. Okay. Okay, distract me, please.
That one was good.
Yeah.
Man, that was real good.
Yeah, I mean, it actually tasted pretty good. Had some chile in it, had a kick, and oh, fuck. Okay, it stays in your tongue. It stays on your tongue. Ask me a damn question! Fuck.
So, of all the books you buy, how many do you think you read?
Well, working on that because I don't want to be a hoarder with books, but like I've seen before, besides the matter of space, besides the matter of space, books are not the problem. Books are the solution. Remember that.
You're like, oh, that's not so bad. Oh, holy shit!
I'm telling you, hypersensitive taste buds. I know to you I must seem like a wuss compared to the people on Hot Ones, but you know, the important thing is DJ Khaled tried. I would like to go beyond his point. I would. I think I could. But, anyway, like as far as the ratio, like in a stack of 10 books, how many would I read? Like right away, you mean, or just like over time?
In general.
There should be like smoke coming out of my mouth. It's sort of like a... I'd say about maybe I'm not gonna lie, maybe like 2/4. But I'm
2/4 is half.
Yeah, so half. I'm working on reading, of course I want to read every single thing I own. I'm not the type of person, again, no judgment, to buy something and then just put it on for display. I want there to be some sort of valuable use out of it. If I'm going to buy a book, I'm going to read it. If I'm going to buy an album, I'm going to listen to it. And that's mainly what I spend my leisure money on. Books and music and hot sauce.
Right. And yogurt.
And yogurt. This is like, I really like how they've improved the taste of vanilla, because when it first came out, I bought the vanilla flavor. It was very bland, but they've improved on the taste of vanilla, which, depending on how natural it is, it's either a very good thing, or depending on how many chemicals, a very bad thing. Okay. Hang on.
Wait till we hit the gourmet.
No, don't even get me started. Okay, so if you could have a conversation with one of your favorite poets, Federico Garcia Lorca, what would be the first question besides the salutations that you would ask him?
I think it would be, how did he develop his thoughts on the duende?
How do you okay, so without asking him, hypothetically speaking, how do you think he developed it?
Probably the same as how we think of the muse. But I think what I understand is there was music in Spain that was cathartic and very energetic and kind of possessed, and the duende is sort of this possessive, like, dark spirit, and I think he kind of felt like, the same way, we develop our, muse or whatever from our moods or whatever. He probably came up with the idea of, the spirit in the poetry, the wind of the turbulence of the being in the poems.
Definitely. Okay, buddy. Last one's a dipper. Are you ready for this? Part of me is slightly disappointed, but at the same time, I think this is a good starting point for people who have hot sauce. Oh, buddy, I am. If you get through this without crying or whatever, I'm going to worship you as a hero. Flip it all the way in. Let me get some chunks on it. Some chunks. Oh boy, this looks yummy. Maybe a little chunky.
Careful there.
Yeah, well, right. I did Louisiana and Texas Pete. No, I'm sorry. I did Louisiana twice and Tapatio twice. I think I did those three twice.
I think you just did the Tapatio and the Texas Pete twice.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't do Louisiana. Louisiana was okay, but with no disrespect. Yeah.
It's a little vinegary.
Yeah. That was the key taste. Okay. I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure if we should be nervous, because that one said extra hot with the whole triple X signature. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, cheeps. It actually tastes milder.
Yeah. I think it's a lot milder than that other one. And it has a little bit of a tomatoey taste. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Tomatoes, jalapeno peppers, habanero peppers, cilantro, spices. Held it.
Hell yeah.
Actually tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
And, here's the thing. I'm not really a tomato person. I do, however, like barbecue sauce and salsa. I don't like red sauce on pizza. I don't like ketchup. I don't like tomatoes themselves.
Yeah, it's really good.
Chunkier. Oh, I think I got some more. Okay. Let's switch that. So, this is the hottest. I have no idea how many Scoville units. I mean, I'm sure it's in the thousands, but like low to mid thousands. I don't know. Right. Okay.
Chips. Is there ever a topic you do not wish to approach in poetry?
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Dropped it.
I don't believe 100% in the whole stick to what you know, because I think it's good to explore other realms. But also be very careful, because it could lead you down a path that there's no recovery from. Topics in particular I don't wish to approach in poetry.
Come back and bite you now?
A little bit. I'm still feeling El Yucateco. Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Real good.
Real good now. Okay. Honestly, one that are you talking about like in what regard? Like
Just in general, is there something that makes you nervous to write about?
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, like a ton of them. And I've actually explored those realms. I keep my political pieces down to a minimum because I'm strongly apolitical. I do have my personal views, and I do vote, but the difference between many others is that I keep all that to myself. I don't talk about it with anyone, except maybe Dustin, because we both share somewhat of this just similar set of viewpoints. But it's really, I've noticed, like especially in this generation, a lot of people operate with, well, not just my generation, just people in general, operate on the mindset of everyone's entitled to my opinion, and whatever you say is lower than the dust. Whatever I say is gospel. I was speaking to somebody, I don't know what his name is, and frankly, because of just the way he acted, I don't care. He asked me what I believed in, and like spiritually, I gave him my spiritual views. And then he brought up, well, aren't we actually just microorganisms that evolved from so-and-so? I said, well, my goodness, are we? Because the way I recall it is that you're not explaining anything about yourself. I tried asking you questions about yourself, you refused to answer. You asked me what I believe in, and I gave you a straight answer. And now what you're doing is, saying, well, aren't we this? And he said, yes, but these are the facts. You have no facts for what you believe in. I'm like, didn't know I needed to present them to you from the starting point? And it just spiraled out of control. And then, for me, I was laughing the whole time because he's just one of many of those people. You just can't debate with these. It's like speaking through a revolving door. So,
give me the facts.
Before ending the conversation, I just said, I apologize. I had no idea you were one of them. And then, goodbye. Yeah. So, I think, I don't mind stirring up some controversy. With my work, whether it's a poem or a song or an essay, a screenplay, a play, whatever the form of writing is, I never aim to attack or offend a certain type of person or a certain type of event or whatnot. The closest I come to that, I like to keep people on their toes and maybe make you cringe just a little bit. But most of all, I like to make you ponder. If I'm going to present controversy, I promise you, I will back it up with something substantial. It's not going to be there just for pure shock value. And if shock value works for other people, great. Again, no judgment, but it's not how I'm wired in that sense. What was your first impression of me when you met me? It's been about 9 years now.
I have no idea. I was like, that guy looks interesting. He's wearing a Jim Morrison shirt.
That's right. I think the first time was coffee hour. I don't think it was Barnes, right? I think the first time we talked.
I remember Barnes being the first time.
That you saw me or that we talked?
Maybe the first time I saw you. Like, I came up and gave you a copy of Harbinger
Okay.
at Barnes.
Right.
And that was the first time I remember seeing you.
Okay. And then, yeah, maybe it was at Coffee O that we started, like, actually having a conversation. I think I just, like, took the copy and said, oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Just for the heck of it, I'm just going to check on the time just really quick, just because I don't want it to run out. Crap, we only have like 3 minutes left. Okay, we have 3 minutes left before the bloody thing turns off completely, so, okay. Let's just, okay. This is not going to work. I'm not sure if we can do this in 3 minutes.
Drugs.
Okay, you do as I do. Quickly.
I don't know, big enough.
Whoops.
Just pour it on.
Just pour it on.
Just do this.
What we're doing right now is we're pouring all of the hot sauces on one chip.
Ah!
Whoops.
Run away, run away, run away.
Okay.
And we're going to die.
Okay.
You skipped the hot one.
I'm dipping 2. Okay. And then...
Slow down. Slow down.
Whoops. Oh, whoops, that's a lot of habanero. Oh, whoa. Okay, that kind of spray. That's lucky for that one on my forehead. Really sucks that the video has to end here, but we're doing...
Just drop it on.
Just drop it on.
Come out. Ah! Ah!
That's a lot!
That's gonna kill me.
That's gonna kill us!
Kill me all!